lies will be exposed.
All right. Cheers, salutations, and good morning. So, listen, we are going to be talking a little bit more about the fallout from what's happening in Argentina because, folks, there are some long term consequences in regards to cryptocurrency and what will happen because the influencer drama scam that people are falling for is far more nefarious than I even thought it would be. And look, we need to talk about how crypto and its eventual possible downfall will impact us all, especially in the years to come. Because as everything is being built up, eventually this whole phase is going to die down. So joining me is good friend of the show, Michael Vass. Vasquez from No Soundbites Allowed. Michael, look, you've had some experience as a stock trader. So just for just a little bit short introduction, because I think it's been a while since we had you back on, just introduce yourself to my viewing audience because we were talking a little bit back and forth and you've joined in on the live stream chat about this coverage of what's happening in Argentina. So give us a breakdown. Tell us who you are because we got a lot to talk about.
All right. The real brief thing, I'm about to be 57 this year. I'm a Marine, like Kit, like many of our members of the audience. I've lived around the world. I've been a stockbroker for about 10 years. That was back in the mid to late 90s until the mid to early 2000. I've done about 100 different IPOs, bridge loans. I've done mergers. So I am familiar with financial products. This is not about, we're not giving financial advice for any individual.
Precisely.
We're talking about the market in general, just so people know that, and of course for the censors.
Yes.
But this is a big deal. And what I do, my day job, is I do political commentary. Been doing it for 20 years.
Right.
And that's me in a nutshell. Yes, I have a channel, No Soundbites Allowed, where I do similar to Kit, slightly different take on some issues, but you know what? We're both looking for the same end goal: individual freedom, prosperity, America being the best country that it can be. If not, let's reach for the, I like to always say, reach for the stars, because if you get the clouds, it's still a success.
All right. That sounds pretty good. So first of all, folks, again, just to be clear here, we're not giving financial advice.
No.
We do urge caution if people want to be involved in crypto. Seriously, do your research. And more importantly, again, we are just giving our opinions and thoughts about what's happening for this current event, because right now we need to address something that is happening. Not only will we be talking a little bit about the CoffeeZilla interview in regards towards the Libra crypto coin, but we have to address what's going on with the president of Argentina. So I want to give a huge shout out to our good friends and colleagues at the Gray Zone who've been doing phenomenal work. So Argentina's president, Javier Milei, has been accused of fraud and is likely to face impeachment charges after he promoted a sham cryptocurrency token, which allowed a handful of con artists to dupe crypto owners out of hundreds of millions of dollars in a single day. The scam is believed to be the first cryptocurrency rug pull to have been orchestrated with the help of a sitting president. Hey, what a way to start off 2025. While the exact number of victims is unknown, around 75,000 people are suspected to have been swindled, and a judge has been appointed to investigate after at least 100 criminal complaints were filed against the president of Argentina in the days since. The crypto token Libra jumped massively in value after the president endorsed it on social media, president of Argentina, on February 14th, posting a link to purchase the coin and lauding the private project for encouraging the growth of the Argentine economy, funding small business and Argentine ventures. Milei went on as far as framing the coin as a legitimate investment, writing, "The world wants to invest in Argentina." But that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. And right now, we are also, I want to pull up this article is here. It's from The Guardian. The Javier Milei faces impeachment calls after Argentina cryptocurrency collapse. So before we get into the CoffeeZilla situation, especially talking to one of the people who was involved in creating the cryptocurrency, being involved in it, honestly, again, I'm not a legal expert here, but if I was that guy's lawyer, I would be screaming to the moon, why in God's green earth did you consider doing this? But nonetheless, we are witnessing a sitting president who has captured the internet by storm even long before he got involved in the cryptocurrency.
Right.
My friend, your thoughts on the current situation that the president of Argentina faces? What do you think?
Okay. First of all, yeah, I agree with you. Hayden, I don't know what was in his mind when he decided to have an on the record conversation. He's just out of his mind. But he's also smart because it is an unregulated market.
Yes.
But let's go to Javier Milei. He's a self-proclaimed libertarian. He is a revolutionary in the sense that he wanted to do something that we haven't seen in any other government around the world. Argentina had about 2,000% inflation per month. And he said he was going to finally fix that. I think he's famously known for saying he's going to take a chainsaw to the government. He would walk around with a chainsaw. That's how he got elected. And he did.
Right.
And he dropped inflation down to about 23% per month. Now, in American terms, insane. In terms of Argentina, godsend. It's one of the best governments they've ever seen. So he's been headhunted by a lot of governments around the world, institutions around the world that want the status quo. They don't want to see Argentina improve by changing the way they do things. And so they were looking for this opportunity. Milei is a proponent of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Like many, he thinks that's something that would improve individual freedom. He's spoken about it very often. And to limit government corruption. That's the goal of all cryptocurrency. That's the stars that they're trying to reach towards.
Right.
Based on all evidence so far, he has no connection to the running of this meme coin. And there's a couple of terms that are kind of confusing.
Right.
There's Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency. Then there's something called a meme coin. Meme coins are like Dogecoin, like Melania coin, Trump coin. We'll get into those.
Yes.
But they are meant to be jokes. They're ideas. They're not really based on anything other than a name or an idea. And sometimes they take off, sometimes they don't. Milei seems to have not been involved in running that launch of that meme coin, but he thought it would be something that could be helpful to the Argentinian government, the people. He was wrong. It was run by individuals that had a very different goal, apparently. And that's why we see what's happening now. And it's going to cost him politically.
No, it probably will. And most likely, again, as much as the president of Argentina may want to try and distance himself, the thing is, the internet is immortal and it is forever. As here is Hayden, the individual that was being interviewed by CoffeeZilla, and there is the president of Argentina. There they are, buddy. I mean, these videos. There's so many photos, and yes, and again, Hayden is on the left, the president is on the right. So I just want to let everybody know that there is going to be an investigation into this. And while the president may want to try and distance himself, the overall influence and the reach that this president had, as well as to anyone trying to get involved into cryptocurrency, it has been argued that people are looking at this as the last big attempt to get rich or die trying. And I want to let everybody know that throughout the entire time the meme coins have been gaining popularity, the story is always the same, and it's not one of success. I mean, the only people who get rich are those who were there from the beginning or laid down the foundation. Anybody else that has been associated with meme coins or cryptocurrency have lost everything, or they're holding on to something that is absolutely worthless. I mean, they should have sold as soon as they had, but no, people want to stay on, hold, and have the belief that they got something that's pure gold. So I remember you mentioning this is like the tulip craze. So for our viewing audience, let's go back in time for a second. What was the tulip craze?
The Dutch tulip craze is something mentioned in financial markets a lot. At one point, going back about 100 years or so, everyone, for some reason, people started liking Dutch tulips. It was very popular amongst the higher upper class. And people loved the tulips. So everyone started buying them. And because there was a limited supply, the price started skyrocketing to match up. And it just got more and more expensive. The price kept going up and up, well beyond what the supply could match up to, until the bubble burst. Something more common, something that may be more recent for people to attach to, the dot-com bubble,
Right.
which happened in 2000.
I remember that too. That was as a kid, I didn't even know what was going on, but I remember people saying, "Well, this is the end for the internet."
Well, they were saying at first in the mid 90s, everyone, and this is like 98, 99, everyone was saying, oh, this is going to end brick and mortar stores. You would no longer have stores. Everything would be bought through the internet online, and there would never be another store. And it was going to save people money. It was fantastic. And then reality hit. Things like, paper weighs a lot. Mm-hmm. Dog food is heavy. It costs money to ship that, and you need a warehouse, and other realities came out, and we saw the bubble burst. And when it did, we saw a recession globally. Mm-hmm. So this is what we see. So this is the same exact thing. The tuba craze was the same thing as the dot-com bubble, and we see these kind of bubbles happen often. Same thing with housing. The subprime markets had their own bubble. Same thing. Banks were loaning money to people who were not qualified, and that was cleared by 1986, the government at that time. Mm-hmm. And that bubble took 30 years to burst, but all bubbles burst. They always do in financial markets. It's just a matter of when and how much damage they do when they do blow up.
Mm-hmm. And I think that go ahead. I mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we got a pretty good hold of what we're looking at historically.
And I think that's a pretty good segue into this portion of the interview, in which Hayden, again, hey, look, to each their own. I understand why he did the interview with CoffeeZilla. It's just maybe he should not have done that interview with CoffeeZilla. But nonetheless, hey, we all make our choices and we must live with them. So we must choose. So I think that's a perfect segue into where Hayden breaks down cryptocurrency and its involvement. So let's go ahead and pull up this video here. This is CoffeeZilla. Again, folks, when we broke this video down on yesterday's show, the original link is in the description box below. Again, for this segment as well, when I clip it, I'll be posting this link to it. So in case you didn't see it, you can watch it again. So let's go ahead and play this.
Technology behind it. I think that's the overall pitch. Now, but people will argue to...
Well, that's... I mean... There's not like look at any crypto asset, right? Like even Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is literally valuable because a shitload of people said it's valuable, and because it quote unquote isn't controlled by anybody that we know of. Like even at the top, all of it is extractive to some degree or a zero-sum game. None of it has value. So it's like whether it's a fucking meme coin or it's a giant utility project, it all is dog shit. The whole point of being here is the attempt for it not to be one day, which is going to require huge amounts of progress for it to get there.
Yeah, but the progress is not going to come in the meme coins. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to finish, right? I'm not saying I'm right, by the way. I'm just saying this is my thought. I'm not at all saying I'm right. But my thought was, if some of these meme coins, because that's what all anybody gives a shit about right now, at least for the past 3-4 months or 2-3 months, whatever, maybe since Trump launched, is that some of these could at least maybe, again, eventually create utility, or the Daves or the, Kanye is a horrible example, but some of these big guys, and they start collaborating, cross-promoting, burning tokens, adding utility, and maybe there's actually potential of like social finance for those type of things. But in order to get there, there's going to be a fuckload of dumb shit that happens.
Good.
Okay, let's stop right here because I know you're jumping at the bit here, but
yeah,
you heard that there, folks. That it's all worthless. So if you know anybody that's hyping up cryptocurrency or trying to sell it to you, or meme coin or anything of that nature, ask them to get help, and also don't fall for it. But Michael, go for it, my friend.
Yeah. Notice that he said it's not just meme coin, it's any cryptocurrency. Now, the reason why anyone in finance would actually say that is all financial transactions, all currencies are based on an asset. Even stocks, bonds, they're based on an asset. At the end of the day, you can determine a book value, a absolute value of that product, that company, that currency. It's based on something. Even if that number is negative, it is based on an asset. There is no asset for crypto. It is all based on emotion. It is the intent or the hope that this will become more valuable, more used globally or within a region, that it will attain some future value. Now, very much this is like what we saw in the 90s where there was the big IPO craze. An IPO is when a stock goes from being a private company to being traded on an exchange. That could be the New York Exchange, the NASDAQ, small cap, OTC. There's different markets, but essentially it's always the same thing. It's this company was private. It then becomes public. You and I can buy it as investors. Mutual funds buy it for your retirement and for growth. That's the simplicity of it. Now, the IPO market's very much like what we're seeing in crypto, except there's no regulation. There's a ton of regulation with IPOs. You have to get documentation telling you how much risk you will be entering into to buy this IPO. You don't get that with crypto. You just get someone saying, this is going to be the next big thing. It's happened to me. Had a friend call, oh, Doge, you got to buy this Doge. It's, it was a penny. Now it's 12 cents. It's going to $5. You've got to jump in there and buy this. That was the message I got from a friend of mine. And it did jump up huge and jump back down huge just as much. And it bounces around. It's a meme coin. There's no inherent value. It is about emotion. And that emotion propels it higher and higher.
Do you think that this is like a gambling addiction, though? Because the way I'm looking at cryptocurrency, it is the emotional rush of getting that high, of thinking that you got something. Like, and we see addiction come in many forms, from alcohol to drug abuse. And there's that, that moment of fleeing, like you're feeling good, or whatever the pain is, it's going away. And then there's also that whole addiction with gambling, where, the pain of being insecure goes away, but you need to keep on going more and more. And that's what cryptocurrency, these meme coins, are being, at least from my opinion, that's how they're being perceived from when I see them, when I see people post about them and their eventual downfall. And everyone has the same story. And on the one hand, I feel sorry for these people. On the other hand, you're trusting influencers or other random people who are trying to make themselves seem authoritative. And they're leading you for a ride, and what, you spent your kid's college fund or your family's life savings on but the thing is, there are people like that. And while you're saying God no, but there is, and there's case after case of people falling for this. And CoffeeZilla, I mean, he's been in the trenches. I don't know how many times he's covered the story. It takes different forms in one iteration or the other, but it starts the same and it ends the same. People losing everything because of their belief in somebody on the internet or people in positions of power, like the president of Argentina. And yes, he might have some separations, but he's still associated with it. And it led to people having meltdowns. I mean, I played the video of this one kid, throwing a vase at his garage door and saying he has to sell his Rolex. Well, yeah, cry me a river.
I saw that.
I mean, if you cannot see the mistakes of others and you fall for the same trap, you do sort of lose my sympathy, because we also have to realize that there are some other long-term impacts here, such as, most famously, this was played on the show, and I'm going to play it again. It has to deal with, of course, the Melania coin, where Hayden should not have said certain things, because people, if given the time, are going to be looking further and further into this. My apologies. The audio is not connected, so let me stop sharing here for a second and reshare again. Apologies, folks. See, it's a good thing to have a second pair of eyes.
Ask, because this is part of what my story is about. A lot of people have linked you to the Melania launch, and that is a big question on everyone's mind, mine especially, which is, were you part of the Melania launch, and was that sniped as well?
I mean, look, I think that I mean, I told you like beforehand but before this started. I mean, I'm happy to share the truth, but I mean, you're asking a question that's it's just, I mean, I'll answer, but it's factually going to put me into a lot of danger, which is fine. I'll answer. I was part of it. I think the team did want to snipe it because of how big the snipe was on Trump's.
Breathe, coffee. Breathe.
Let me mention.
Go ahead.
I wanted to bring this into easier terms because they use terms that people don't really. Even if you follow finance, you may not know what's sniping. You know, it's like what's a meme coin. Sniping is basically arbitrage. It's people day trading, essentially. It's someone jumping in, trying to get the gap in the price as it's moving through the market, which is based on liquidity, which means how many people are buying and selling it. And usually as that buy and sell price is moving around, there's going to be a gap between there as it's trading. And you try and jump in at, you bought it low. And then as people are jumping in, you sell it a little bit higher. But we're talking about fractions of, you're not looking for it to go to $5. You're looking for 15 cents. You're looking for 5 cents. But you have so many shares, you own so many chains that the volume makes you the money. They're not buying, 5 or 10 chains or shares. They're buying 150,000, 1.2 million to jump in and to jump out. This is negative. And this is one of the problems with crypto that no one ever talks about. It's unregulated. See, this is very much like, again, you can ask stockbrokers about this. It's very much like an IPO or in the stock market in general, except we have regulations. We have regulations, one of the biggest ones being the best man rule. We have to look out for our customers, and we have only certain ways we can manipulate the market. Yes, all markets are manipulated, including the stock market. But there are rules on how you do that so that it's not completely lopsided. And in an IPO, I will go out to an investor, someone who's accredited, someone who's got millions of dollars. I'm going to go to them and say, you're going to take a risk. You'll do this maybe 10 times. Only one of them will work. But that one that works will make you 10 times your money. One or two may break even. You'll take a loss on the others. But because the one makes you money, it makes up for all the difference. They don't care because they have write-offs for the ones they lose. And the one that makes money makes more than enough to cover it all. That's now the reason why they do this. Not only for that, they get to walk in, say the IPO is $5. Everyone in the world can buy this stock for $5. I've done this a dozen times. And I'll talk to my investors. Okay, they're going to buy in, and they buy in at $4.50. They own it at $4 or $4.50, maybe $3.50. Market starts at $5. They don't sell yet. Okay. They have to hold. There's a time frame they have to hold on to. We want to build up the market. We want to build out the price. And then we do what's called sniping. We get those investors out. Why? Because when it hits $6, they have a 50%, 100% gain on their money. They weren't in this for the long haul. They don't believe in the company. They wanted the transaction.
Gotcha.
And they're going to get out. Now, because it's a regulated market, we don't dump it on everyone and crush the market and everyone loses money. No, we can only get out in certain size blocks. We can only do this over time if the market is regulated properly. And this way, people still get to make money if they believe in the company or they believe in the hype. And that's how people get to still make money, and it continues to go up.
But with crypto, none of that's in there. But with crypto, none of that is in there. And in turn, this is how we're able to find out how people are able to pump and dump. And so long as there's enough suckers to fall in for the crypto meme coin or hype, and probably eventually there's going to be some psychologist or somebody who studies human behavior patterns in regards to why people keep falling for the same trap over and over again. It's either people are blindly ignorant, which I find shocking but believable in this day and age of the internet, because there's some things that people just don't know, even when we have all this information before us, or they really do think they're going to get rich.
Well, let me tell you, because again, going back to being a stockbroker, we have an answer there. because we see this often with small cap stocks. It's going to mean the next greatest thing. I had a customer of mine, who a good client of mine. I know him many years. He's now passed away. He came to me one time. He had several $1 million with me. He says, "Hey, we're going to buy this thing. It's got a rumor. We bought it at 6 cents." He says it's going to go to $5. I heard this from all through the grapevine. We bought a couple 100,000 shares. It was meaningless. It was a whim.
Mm-hmm.
Except the rumor went around to all the markets that this thing was going to fly. And I heard about it. A bunch of people started hearing about it, and everyone started buying in. Thing hits $1. We're doing fantastic. Thing goes to 250. I'm like, okay, we're taking out our original money. We have enough shares that we took out the original investment, and we still had plenty left over to ride this thing to wherever it was going, because market was taking it away. It went up. It went to $5. I'm like, we're there. We hit the target. Let's get out. Take all the money and run. He says, no. We're going to stay in. Matter of fact, buy a little bit more. Okay, we did. Thing keeps going up. This is you'll see where I'm going in 1 second. We bought a little bit more. Hype kept on building up. It went to $8. It went to $12. It was about $15. And I'm like, I literally got into an argument. This was one of my oldest clients. I literally was in his office screaming in his face that we have to take money, take 10% off. We have to. This is insane. He did, and then didn't talk to me for a week. But shortly after it hit $15, people who were alive at the time might remember that President Clinton had a press public address, and he mentioned 7 stocks that were representative of criminal activity in America that were rigged stocks. That stock froze. The next time, it was 3 days later, it was able to be traded again, and the stock was at 25 cents and sold to 0. The reason why everyone was in there is the same reason people go into crypto. It is that feeling of a home run. It is that get rich quick feeling. It is, and the problem is most people don't have someone there screaming at them all day saying, get out, take your profit and walk away. Mm-hmm. Old saying in the stock market, bears make money, bulls make money, pigs get slaughtered. 80% of the public are pigs. They get slaughtered because they don't know when to get out. And crypto makes it even worse.
Okay. And that explains too, because when you have stuff like this, let's finish up this video segment here, because there is even a follow-up, not connected to Argentina, because I'm pretty sure that the president of Argentina is going to be in some legal shenanigans for quite some time. But let's hold on. Let's replay this part right here.
It's just, I mean, I'll answer, but it's just factually going to put me into a lot of danger, which is fine. I'll answer. I was part of it. I think the team did want to snipe it because of how big the snipe was on Trump's. And we weren't we definitely weren't the big sniper. We were not that was what we were trying to avoid. And we didn't make any, there was no money made from the Melania team on any, we didn't take any liquidity out. 0.
Okay.
And all I could say is that Coffee's thinking, maybe you should not have said that. But I want to just address your folks. With the influence of cryptocurrency, especially when you have a sitting president who has been promoting it, again, the president of Argentina, there are some long-term consequences, because there has been talk from the Trump administration about being involved with Bitcoin, and we hear other people wanting to be involved into cryptocurrency, connecting it to the mainstream market. But with all the data and all the failures, and the fact that you have an open admission from a key player saying, pretty much it's all dog shite, it's all crap, it's all worthless, just everybody's running on emotions. And I get it. It's good to feel good about something. I'm not going to argue about that. But you want to know what really sucks is a full-on global depression, because that's what I'm seeing if cryptocurrency is truly invested into our main global economy. And if it's truly in there and we are getting piles and piles of crap, sooner or later the music's going to stop, the euphoria is going to end and everyone's going to realize that they got a whole bunch of excrement surrounding them. So, Michael, is this an overreaction, or are we just going to have to embrace the fact that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are going to be here and that we are going to be walking into a disaster? Your thoughts?
No, you're right, except there's a worse scenario than even that. And yes.
Oh, okay, great. So I was right, but hold on, it gets worse. Okay, how does it get worse?
Well, the reason why it's bad and why people aren't realizing it is you're looking at incomes being destroyed. And of course, if you destroy the income of Argentina, you destroy its trades and its relations and its the money flow around the world. It affects everyone. And if it's happening, think of all the money that America has put into various meme and Bitcoins and all that. So you're looking at this happen on a global basis. Everyone's going to be affected. But what's worse than that, and that bubble will burst because, again, there is no asset at the end of the day, just emotion. The day everyone says, I'm going to sell and cash out is the day that bubble bursts. I don't know when it happens, but when it does, there's going to be tens of billions of dollars that are going to just be thrown away. But here's the worst scenario. Because they're thinking of doing something called central bank digital currency. It's basically governments will create their own Bitcoin, their own cryptocurrency, an idea to replace the dollar or whatever currency, the pound, the euro, whatever. It's meant to replace that. Imagine a government, and every government on the world is corrupt. They have some level of corruption. I don't care what country you're in. I don't care how much you love whoever's in charge. And I have no problems with Trump being in charge. And yes, the U.S. government is corrupt. It was corrupt when Trump was in the first time. It's corrupt now. It will be corrupt tomorrow. Doesn't matter. Imagine that government now given the power to turn off your money, to revalue your money on an instantaneous basis. You're in the wrong party. Your chain is turned off. Oh, people are buying things. Well, we don't like the way trade is going. We revalued the money overnight, instantly, and you have nothing you can do about that. There is no way. They can track every single purchase you make if the world is using it's called a CBDC, or again, central bank digital currency. They can track every single transaction you do because the chain follows that token everywhere it goes. Everything you've ever bought, everywhere you were when you made that purchase, everyone who received that purchase. Oh, we're going to tax you. And we can check that chain, and every person in that chain can be taxed for everything they've done. And we know where you were. Mm-hmm. So if you want privacy, if you want individuality, if you want the government out of your life, you can't get it with crypto, especially from a government authority. If they get into it, you have no freedom anymore. They can track you. They can affect everything you can do. That is a worse scenario to me than a global depression. Mm-hmm. Because you are no longer an individual. You're a checkbook.
What could go wrong? But hey, while we're all dancing to the destruction, just a quick follow-up here, folks. And again, this is my advice and warning to the audience, because I really like engaging with my audience. I really like talking to them, hearing all of you, and every one of you have been very kind and generous. But this is something that maybe you want to do to help out somebody who might not be bright. Just give them advice. If you hear somebody saying that they're getting into a meme coin, try and sit them down and talk them out of it. They're on the ledge, because for those of you who don't know, CoffeeZilla, he did a great job with that Hayden. Whatever Hayden's going to be going through down the road, I wish him all the best. Truly, I do, because I would not want to trade places with him at all, period. But for those of you who don't know, Adam22 is a quote-unquote popular podcaster, and now he's taking his own audience for a ride. And this happened yesterday. Just imagine, you do a great interview, gets like over 1 million views on YouTube, and then real talk, because again, Adam22 actually reached out to CoffeeZilla to be a guest on a show like over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. But CoffeeZilla decided to reach out to him and give this warning. He did his good deed for the day. Real talk. You shouldn't run a coin. It's lame and you're going to scam or get scammed. How else are you going to afford all this galaxy gas? Horrible response to it. Which then Coffee says, these guys want to swipe your coin. I don't care. I just got paid to do the tweet. I got nothing to do with it. That's even worse. Scamming the fans? I'm going to venture a guess that approximately 0% of my fans know how to do anything with crypto. As you have pointed out, pigs to the slaughter. Which, again, CoffeeZilla says, I don't believe that, but setting it aside, you do know it's a grift, right? People are literally plotting to snipe. To which the response is then, how much did they offer you and who is it? No idea. I just did it because Moneybag, yo. The baby and Kodak are all doing it. Did it. I don't know who's behind it.
And he doesn't care. You know what's really sad about that?
Well, let's hear it.
They can get away with it. So,
yeah.
I know there's some people out there going, but you know what? If we know they're being corrupt, they're abusing people who are buying into crypto, who don't know about this, who are there's a term, it's called unaccredited. It means you're not a sophisticated investor. You haven't been doing this a lot. They're taking advantage of these people. Then we can just sue them. No, you can't. It's an unregulated market. And many of these are happening overseas. And even if American citizens are involved, doesn't matter. It's an unregulated market. You chose to put your money in there on your own will. No one forced you to do it. You cannot get, almost no one's going to get the money back because it's not a crime.
Damn. So, folks, listen, I wanted to do a follow-up on this story because I think there's a lot of concern, confusion, questions about overall what this means for the president of Argentina. Yes, he's going to be in some deep legal trouble. Can he get impeached? I'm going to say it's 50-50. All depends on his influence and reach within the project. I mean, if you are a sitting executive and commander-in-chief, you know, the buck stops with you. You're the leader of the country. You posted something, you deleted it. Your face is there with the people, or at least one of the people who helped create the Libra coin. And it ended in a complete disaster, not only for you, but your entire administration. And not to mention, over 100,000, 75,000 people were basically pulled. They lost all their money and savings. And I feel sorry for them, but then I don't, because we've seen this story before. So the lesson is, folks, about cryptocurrency, while it looks like it's going to be part of our lives for some time, it's a ticking time bomb. And no matter what's going to happen, the best advice we can give, or at least an opinion we can give to you, our audience, is stay away from it. Be careful. If you choose to be part of it, do your research. That's what I can say. And more importantly, it looks like further on down the road, don't be surprised if it starts knocking on the door here for the United States or other governments in regards to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because we can't stop what's going to happen, but we can at least prepare ourselves for that fallout. Any other final words, Michael?
Yeah, if you feel, and I understand, everyone wants to get rich, and you say, I've got to be in this. Okay, fine. The only thing I would want you to consider, again, I'm not telling you to do or not do anything. No one is. What I would suggest is, when you have whatever your purchase price is, one, only you use money that you can lose and never think about again. If you have money that you need for rent or anything important in your life, don't spend it. Only money that you can lose and not think about, sleep well at night. That's the money you invest. Second thing you have to do, know what your exit is. If I buy it at 2 cents and I want it to double, that means at 4 cents, you're out. Doesn't matter what it does after that. Don't think about that. If your number is 20 cents, then you're out. Doesn't matter what happens. $2, whatever the number is, I don't care. That's up to you. Whatever you can sleep at night being okay losing, then that's your number. Do not change your mind. Do that. Again, bears make money, bulls make money, pigs get slaughtered.
And you know what? I like how you said that, but see, the problem is, I think when people see the numbers going up, it's that addiction to the numbers going up, and people don't realize when it's time to go. And the thing is that's the issue. That is the issue, and the president of Argentina is in some trouble. Hayden and his team, who knows what's going to happen, but hey, it's more content for us to talk about. And then, hey, folks, don't be surprised if the crypto system is right here in our lives, and then all of a sudden the money's been turned off. If that scenario happens, Michael, I will say, hey, we heard here first from Hard Lens Media. God, I wish they were wrong.
Yeah. God.
Yes, exactly. So there you go, my friend.
Be.
All right, folks. We'll be continuing on with the rest of our main show. Michael, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, joining us this early in the morning. Folks, the main show will continue on. We're just going to take a quick, short break. Michael, all the best to you. Where can people find you real quick?
You can look at No Soundbites Allowed. You can see it right there. Just type in No Soundbites Allowed on pretty much any social media platform. I've been doing this 20 years. I should pop up everywhere.
All right, there you go. Done deal. All right, folks, main show time. Let's get ready.
This is No Soundbites Allowed, and I am your host, Michael Vass. Dragging into the Southern Tier, I'm happy to be here with you today. Eric Holder, the Attorney General of the United States, admitted he has not read the Arizona immigration law. I know it is a difficult task to stand up in front of our peers and say to Congress and say that Congress has failed to listen to voters.
You here at CPAC said yes to President Donald Trump in 2016, and I know you're going to say yes to.
She was very aware that she had the flag in her hands and that the flag was dragging on the ground. That is a intentional action. She knows what she is doing. She then drops the flag. Understand the logic, and we see this in social media on a regular basis, and it's something that Newsweek decided not to tell you about. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, a representative in Congress who is writing laws to deny American citizens their rights, has no idea what she's talking about.
And they are against the vaccine mandate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you support that?
Last time I checked, there were not a lot of planes crashing into each other at airports, right? You can meet a very, very stringent accuracy rate when it's important, when it matters, like in federal elections.
The quote from Joe Biden, where he is admitting that he is willing to lie to the American people.